Hello everyone and welcome to Lipnox VR. Today we are taking a look at Bendy and the Ink Machine in VR. This is actually a world in VRChat and it is Quest compatible, but it's basically a rundown. There's 4 worlds to be perfectly honest. There's a chapter 1, 2, and 3 and avatars, so I'll show off some of that stuff, but let's take a tour through this place right now though. So Bendy and the Ink Machine is actually an episodic first-person horror survival game which was developed by Kindly Beast and is actually like a smaller indie game that took off and got hugely popular, and each episode was released individually. I believe there's 6 different episodes, I think, maybe only 5, and it kind of went along with more content and more story as it played out. I have not been one to check out this series, but I'm really happy to explore all this place in VR because it looks really cool. And the whole premise is quite exciting because it's a game that features a mixture of like puzzle solving and like environment exploration with a bit of combat and stuff, and you're basically going through this role of this Henry, an animator from long ago, returning to this old studio that he's working on these ink things in, and that's why the horror thing's all relating to ink. But touring around this place, we can see that there's all sorts of really cool old cartoon style animation stuff. There's characters. It really reminds me of the old Mickey Mouse cartoons from like the 1920s. It's a very classic, very nostalgic retro kind of thing. And some really creepy looking things though. Going around this kind of place, you can see just all sorts of creepiness left and right. There's like oil areas where there's just, it looks like a giant factory of oil, and it's ink, but it has that vibe. And then you go through some rooms and they look like they're almost like a toy shop or things like that. But as we're kind of going through here with the chapter 1, which I went through, you can actually flick the mirror things and you can go down to the basement, and the basement's got its own horrors of whatever. But one thing is, in this VR version, we don't have anything that's chasing us, so we have to use our imagination. If you have any friends that join in here, they could really spook everything up with you and do the whole bendy thing with all the different characters. Maybe brute force comes out and gives you a nice scare. But we'll check out the avatars after. So this next thing I want to show is the chapter 3 part, because that was the last thing was chapter 1. You can check out chapter 2 on your own, but got a bendy clock here that I think is really awesome. But this whole art style of being sort of in this sort of cartoon world just feels like absolute perfect to see in VR, and that's what I love about it. So I believe this guy's Boris the Wolf, and he's one of the main characters, I guess, here. And he's definitely creepy. And some of the artwork of this stuff though, it truly feels like you're just exploring this kind of world to just see everything you're seeing. And reading some of it was just hilarious. Like a bacon things, you got just all sorts of different whatever. And seeing all the machines and everything, it's got like a cell shaded art style or comic book art style that looks good in VR in first person. So exploring this in first person is definitely awesome. The thing that really scares me in regards to all this is you can see here we're in like Heavenly Toys, so it's got this whole toy shop vibe to it. But there's this Alice Angel character that is extremely creepy, and she seems to be missing part of her face. So hopefully we don't run into her, but I can tell you a little warning, we're definitely going to run into her. But she really creeps me out. Exploring these kind of worlds and exploring these kind of levels that are all horror-based can give you quite a chill, even if nothing can kill you, just because it's like, look at this. Look at her banging on the window. She's just creepy and menacing, laughing, chuckling away. And I guess the other animated one is Serenade. But it's decorated with everything, and it's really cool to see all the things. There was another character that I did find that was in a bit of a predicament there. But right here we're touring through this, what looks to be like shelves of like a toy store type of thing. Looks like a back storage thing, and we've got all the inky characters there, which is kind of cool to have all this like merchandise, because I know with the Five Nights at Freddy's getting popular, we have all the theme park kind of things like that. This kind of has its own almost like 1930s Walt Disney Mickey Mouse vibe. And I mentioned Mickey Mouse before, but it really oozes that kind of vibe. But we've got like a whole elevator thing here. I love some of these posters. It's like Hell in a Handbasket as the track going down. And we've got elevator switch. I did press the button, but it didn't seem to do anything, so it's mostly for show. But I did go through here and I was doing some more exploring. These levels are massive when you're exploring everything, and there just seems to be turns and things everywhere to explore. But I did find an unfortunate fate for our friend Piper here, and we'll get to that. But he was not doing so well. He was on the operating table there and seems to have had better days. That's one thing about some of these horror things. They might be all cartoony and sort of fantasy based, but they've got some really creepy stuff to them that, you know, all ages can definitely get their spook on. And I think that's definitely what draws people to this kind of game. But just so many inky things, so much little like inky clocks and inky merchandise and ink all over the place. It's just the full Bendy experience is just littered all over this place, and it feels like it's its own separate, unique world. And honestly, as much as I'm sure that the game itself is fun to explore, I think just going through these VRChat worlds and seeing everything is even more fun. And oh, we got serious damage there. I think that's the Boris the Wolf guy, but it looks like there's a bunch of them and they're all clocked, tied up in some sort of like metal contraption, so that doesn't look very safe. But I would imagine that going through this whole game, it's just pure excitement. And I only noticed the first 3 episodes on VRChat, and then there's an Avatar world, and I'll show you the Avatar world now. But it definitely seems like there's a lot more to check out Bendy style for VR, and I can't wait to see them add more of that stuff. But here we go. We're looking at some of the avatars here, and there's a bunch of really cool avatars. I'll show you some of the avatars. You actually have to go down this hall here to get to the avatars. So if you go to this map here, don't forget to check down the hall, look at those avatars, and it's got the whole cast there. We got Bendy on the floor kind of thing, and there's like an Ink Bendy and Brute Boris, and just all the characters there you can mess around with. We've got the mirror here. You can take a look, do some moves as Ink Bendy here. Get a little flex. There's Brute Boris there. I love the whole machine contraption thing. It looks very spooky. Can't imagine that guy chasing after you would be very fun. And then there's the Alice Angel character that we saw at the end of the game there. It's really spooky, banging on the glass there. But Bendy in the ink machine seems like a property that's well worth checking out, and this VRChat level is just a blast for fans of the series. Definitely recommend it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. This is Lipnox VR, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe before you go. I'm out of here.